we've entered into the month of May, so I just want to talk a little bit about Beltane. I have before me, you can't see it obviously, but I've got my fire, which is, I think, an important thing to have, a candle, or if you got room and a place to do it, a bonfire. But anyway, a candle. I've got some sage. I've got some tobacco. I've got the Earth Magic Oracle cards. I've got my smudging feather ready to go. And the way I want to start is this: is I just want to do a short prayer and thank the powers that be for this emergence that is a strong theme of this particular day and this season that marks the season. Anyway, Creator, thank you. Thank you for the blessings that we have that in our lives, the fact of our breath that we can breathe, that the sustenance that Mother, that you provide for us in so many different ways, the abundance and the clarity to know that the abundance really is about source. It's not about money and things and all that. So thank you for the reminder of that. And on this special celebration, the quarter day of May 1, May 2, of Beltane, ancient so-called pagan holiday that has not been honored up until maybe the last few years, and it is being brought back, some of the, shall we say, more traditional ways to honor this quarter day, May 1. So thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining me too for this. The theme of Beltane mainly is fertility. It's the marriage of the May King and the May Queen. And that's the celebration. That's what it's about, the emergence of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Father, Son, Mother Earth giving birth, from the seeds of light from Father, Son. There's a number of ways to put this. There's no accident that we celebrate Mother's Day right about this time of year, because we are celebrating our mother and the blossoming here in the west, in the northern hemisphere at least, although southern hemisphere is going into the different seasons, going into the fall season. Nonetheless, you can appreciate even in the southern hemisphere the symbolism and the meaning behind this. So I'm going to burn a little bit of sage here, and I am going to make a very simple offering of tobacco. And the offering of tobacco, this is sacred tobacco, not cigarette tobacco. That's a whole different animal, I'll tell you. So perhaps you can even breathe in the smoke here. Shortly going to have a newsletter coming out too, and if you're on the list, you're going to receive it. There's a little lengthier piece on Beltane from my book, Sacred Ceremonies. So I think you'll enjoy that as well. And I'm going to make an offering, just an offering of tobacco as a thank you. Thank you, Pachamama, Earth Mother. Thank you so much for the provisions that you have available to us, the beauty that we can relish, even in the tempestuous periods and cycles of weather and climate, etc. Still, that we may always appreciate your beauty and your gifts. Thank you. There we go. Now, interesting idea that came to me was from the Earth Magic Oracle cards is to read the reading on spring equinox. I'll hold this up. You can't see it very well, but that's from the guidebook for the card Spring Equinox. And it's a picture of Gaia holding the symbols that we tend to associate with this time of year. She's holding a rabbit, I believe, and I can't remember, something else like that, that are representative of what's going on right now. We are in a rebirth, and you can feel it too with this whole last year plus. There's been this down cycle, and this darkness that's been very, very pervasive. And now we're coming in again. This is the northern hemisphere I'm talking about. We're coming into the light. The days are getting longer. People are, we just got permission to not have to wear our masks outside, which I rarely wore a mask. I can't remember unless I'm in a crowd or something like that. To breathe the fresh air, to walk on the earth, take your socks and shoes off, walk on the earth. Take your time, slow down. I had a recent download about time, and it just said, be out of time. If you think about that, there's a different meaning that we usually attribute to that. Oh, I'm out of time. No, you can't be out of time, but you can be out of time. You got it. Yeah. Just in that state of presence, in the flow, without thinking ahead and planning and anticipating and telling yourself stories about the future or dwelling on the past, memories and such like that, really being present. Eckhart Tolle has written a lot about being in the now. Or as someone was asking someone else, what time is it? And the answer is now. And so they go, well, no, really, what time is it? And the answer is now. One more time, what time is it? It's now. Anyway, I'm going to read from Spring Equinox here. You thought this passage you had been through would never end, just as certain that the light of the world fades every few months. It makes its return, and the earth rejoices. The fresh breath of spring sweeps away the cobwebs acquired from the absence of the light. The light is now obviously increasing as nature begins to emerge in all her many forms, shapes, and colors that remind us of the continual cycles of Earth Mother. This cycle of rebirth you are experiencing follows a considerably challenging time. How about that? Any tears you may have shed have cleared the way for what has been gestating, which is now ripe and ready to emerge. That which no longer serves you needs to be put to rest so that a freshness and newness of spirit can make itself known to you. Sometimes birth can be painful, particularly in that passage just before delivery. Yet what emerges can be fresh and beautiful. Be with the emergence of this next cycle with faith and grace. From the guidebook. And finally, I'm going to draw one from the Earth Magic Oracle cards, this is the guidebook for it. The reading, you'll find the reading in a newsletter that's coming out in the next day or so on Beltane, and I suggest you read it. It's very, very interesting, I think, this holiday. It's a pagan holiday. And as I've said before, if you look up pagan in the dictionary, please do so. It just simply means country dweller. But it's taken on a very pejorative kind of a meaning, and it's not that at all. It's an old traditional way of celebrating. So Pachamama, what else you got to tell us here? There you go. Okay, thank you. Here you go. This is so great. I love these cards. Here's the card. There's your instructions. Dance. Celebrate. I'm not going to say a whole lot about this card. Dance, celebrate. I will say one more thing, though, about Beltane. It's kind of interesting, and that's leaping the Beltane fires was a tradition that people would do long ago. And part of it, again, is the season of fertility. It's the coming together of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, but it's also physicalized. It's a very physical time right now. And to honor that time, that's one of the purposes of jumping the Beltane fire. But a piece I read in researching the book Sacred Ceremony said it also warms the loins. So you do what you want with that. But if you can't jump the fire, put a candle down. That's okay. Go take a candle outside and enact that ritual of jumping the Beltane fire. Typically, you would jump it. You could jump it alone, or you can jump it with your partner. Hold hands and jump the fire together. A lot of fun. Anyway, I hope you have a good Beltane, and I'm sure that many of us are experiencing a great relief. That there's things easing up with this whole pandemic. It's still some precautions that are being suggested. And I think that's very appropriate. And of course, more and more vaccinations are available. If you go that route, that's a possibility. And if not, it's up to you. It's your choice still. But I do advise, still taking some precautions, but putting all that aside, and being right here now and enjoying the moment, enjoying the freshness, enjoying the new light that's emerging, and also what's birthing in you. That's what's important.